Good morning students. Today we will start a topic physical and chemical change. Now in last session we have discussed physical changes. Now it's time to move towards the characteristics of physical change. So what are the main characteristics of physical change? First thing is there, no new substances formed. It means after a process of physical change, there is no new substances formed. We get the same substance, or we can say that we get the same constituent of a substance after the process. See, second point, only change in the physical properties is observed. What are the physical properties are there? Look at here, physical properties are state of substance. There are three states of substance are there: solid, liquid and gas. Hardness. Sometimes what happens, there is a change in the hardness occur. We have seen this example of hardness change in a change from your ice, we can say that solid to gaseous form. Now again there is a height change, shape change and so on. Clear? After these 2 points, there is one more point is there, which is generally physical changes are reversible in nature. Why I am using a generally, not always? Because sometimes physical changes are irreversible in nature. What does it mean reversible? Look at here. Okay, see, what does mean by reversible? Actually reversible changes, or we can say that reversible reactions are those reactions which can be reversed in both the direction. It is in a forward direction as well as in a backward direction. What does mean? I have taken an example of solid. We have a solid substance. Okay. Now I want to convert it into a liquid form. You know that when we change the condition of a process or a reaction, this change from solid to liquid get reversed. We use a sign for the reversible changes, that is half arrows. Okay, this will show that this reaction, or we can say that this process is a reversible process. Okay, I have taken example, I have a ice and here I have a water. You know that, everyone know that this water, or we can say that ice, is made up of H2O molecule. Okay, H2O molecule has 2 hydrogen atom and 1 oxygen atom. What happen if we change the condition of this process? This ice converted into a water, and again if we change the condition which is favorable for the conversion of this water into ice, it reverts back to ice. Okay, but how can we say that it is a physical change? Because when you see this ice and this water, they have a same constituent, or it has a same atom or molecule. This is your H2O molecule. Got it? Now, you know that if it is a reversible change, so sometimes this physical change is irreversible in nature. How can this physical change is irreversible in nature? Sometimes when we convert this solid into a liquid and liquid into a gas, what happens? This process occurs in a closed container or a closed system. If it is occur in a closed system, this process get revert back. If it is occur in open condition, there is no reversibility occur. Why? Because all the liquid which is converted into a vapor get evaporated and goes into the atmosphere. Okay, and one more example is there. We have take a wood. It is a log of wood. If I convert this log of wood into a pieces, what do we get? We get the pieces of this wood, and we don't have any idea, or we can say that we don't have any system by which we convert these pieces into a wood. Now, after explaining the characteristics of physical change, now we move towards the examples of some of the examples of physical change. One is your cutting of paper into pieces. Okay. Second, converting chalk into a dust. Conversion of one state of a matter into another state. There is an example like conversion of a solid into a liquid, liquid into a gas. Okay. Another one is all separation techniques. Clear? How all separation techniques are of an example of physical change? Because in separation technique we just try to separate your desired compound from their undesirable impurities. Okay. You know that mixture is a combination of a two or more substance which is present in a different ratios, or we can say that inappropriate ratio. What do? You want to separate it. If you separate a mixture, you see that you get the different constituent at different portions. Now, after this, let me explain the process of crystallization. It is also an example of a separation technique. What happens in a crystallization? In the process of crystallization, you are trying to get the crystals of its solution. What do you go? It is a process in which you get or we can say that you separate the crystals from its solution. So we say that crystallization is the process in which separation of crystals from its solution. What are the main steps are followed during the crystallization process? I have taken example of copper sulfate. So first what I have to do, I have taken a container. There is a one container in which I fill this container with the water. What is in it? Water. Now I am adding a few drops of dilute sulfuric acid, drop by drops. Okay. In this process, I am adding dilute sulfuric acid in a drop by drop manner. Why I am not adding a water in a acid? Because when we add a water in a acid, the reaction is very exothermic, and you know that exothermic reactions are those reactions which produce heat after a reaction. Okay. What do I do after this? I am just adding crystals of copper sulfate in it. I am just continuously adding crystals of copper sulfate and stirring this solution. What do you see after some time? The crystals of copper sulfate stop dissolving in this mixture. Why? This happened because it reaches the point of saturation. What is the saturation? Saturation is a point at which further dissolution of crystals does not take place. So what I do? I just increase the temperature and start heating it and adding few more drops, or we can say that few more crystals of copper sulfate. Now this is a mixture which has water, dilute H2SO4 and a copper sulfate. Okay. After this, we just cool it down. And filter it. Filter this solution by a filter paper. Where are going to make this? Just see here, I am moving upward. After some time, you just remain this solution, and what do you see? After an hour, you see there is some crystals get deposited at the bottom, and these crystals are your crystals of pure copper sulfate. Okay, this is the complete process of crystallization, and in this process we get the pure crystals of copper sulfate. Now, in everyday life where we use this process of crystallization, many times you have seen in your homes your mother converting the sugar solution into a sugar. Again, this is also a type of crystallization, and the formation of salt, your NaCl, is also an example of crystallization. What happens in NaCl? You just evaporate the water which is present in a mixed form and get your crystals of NaCl.